Why humanity reigns as the galaxy's most feared warrior species. The Galactic Council had gathered for an emergency session, an unprecedented move in its centuries-long history. Representatives from every major species, ancient and young alike, were present, each one anxious, confused, or visibly disturbed. The council chamber, a grand circular hall adorned with holographic projections of star maps and historical records, pulsed with nervous energy. In the center of the hall stood Ambassador Selak, a highly respected veteran from the peaceful Arden species, known for their wisdom and diplomacy. Today, however, Selak's usually calm demeanor was overshadowed by a hint of dread. Honored members of the council, Selak began, his deep, echoing voice resonating through the hall. We are gathered to discuss a threat unprecedented in our collective history, a species that defies logic, a species that rises to every challenge with resilience that borders on madness. A murmur rippled through the hall. Every council member knew who Selak was referring to, though few had encountered this species firsthand. They were known by many names across the galaxy: Deathworlders, survivors, and, most frequently whispered, the humans. Ambassador Selak spoke General Zarn of the Xyrix Dominion, an insectoid warrior race who prided themselves on their strength and tactical prowess. His voice held an edge of skepticism. Are we truly to believe that this species, from a remote world with primitive origins, poses a genuine threat to the entire galaxy? Selak's expression remained grave. General Zarn, I understand your doubts, but allow me to present evidence gathered from first-hand encounters with humanity. With a wave of his hand, a holographic screen appeared, displaying a detailed map of Earth. With a scrolling list of environments, Selak gestured toward the map. Humans come from a world called Earth, a place they themselves call a death world. Extreme climates, volatile weather, and diverse ecosystems shaped them over millennia. Every species on that planet evolved to survive against overwhelming odds. Death world, indeed, muttered Counselor Rieska of the Halan, a reptilian species who had long considered themselves superior survivalists. But merely surviving a harsh world does not make one a warrior. Selak's gaze turned sharp, and he tapped a command into the console before him. A video feed flickered to life, showing footage captured by a Yildar scouting ship that had once encountered a human exploration team in deep space. The recording showed a battle, a human soldier, cornered by 3 heavily armed Yildar mercenaries, facing what seemed to be certain death. But the human's response was unexpected. He laughed, an unsettling sound that reverberated across the calms. Without hesitation, he charged, moving with a speed and agility that defied his armor's weight, taking down each mercenary with ruthless efficiency, fighting as if pain and injury meant nothing. The hall fell silent. Ambassador Selak paused the video. Humans do not approach combat as we do, where we rely on calculated tactics. Humans seem to thrive on improvisation. They adapt in the midst of chaos, and they possess an unwavering will to survive, even against impossible odds. A ripple of unease spread through the room as the council members absorbed the footage. They do not fear pain, Selak continued. In fact, it seems they are willing to endure it as part of their strategy. For them, survival is not merely instinct, it is an art. Elsewhere in the council hall. Meanwhile, in a quieter corner of the chamber, Commander Vrel of the war-hardened Karnak species leaned closer to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Jorah, who observed the footage with narrowed eyes. Could it be true? Vrel muttered, his voice tinged with disbelief, that they are truly unbreakable? Jorah, younger and somewhat skeptical of the council's tendency toward dramatics, shook his head. It's impressive, yes, but the Xyrix are formidable, and we Karnak are no strangers to battle. I doubt they are as unique as the council fears. Vrel's expression remained serious. Perhaps, but consider this, Jorah, the humans are not an old species. They have fought their way to this point in mere centuries. What might they become in millennia? Back in the council hall, the next piece of footage Selak displayed was from a human-led mission on Garant Prime, a hostile desert planet with extreme temperatures and deadly predators. The council watched in fascination as a team of human explorers, abandoned by their shuttle, managed to survive not by finding shelter, but by hunting the native creatures, fashioning their bones into tools and their hides into protective gear. Counselor Rieska leaned forward, her yellow eyes fixed on the footage. They adapted to a hostile ecosystem in a matter of days? She whispered, her earlier skepticism melting into respect. Remarkable. Selak nodded, turning to face the entire assembly. That is their strength. They are not the strongest, nor are they the most advanced, but their adaptability, their willingness to risk, to fail, and to try again, that is what makes them dangerous. To humans, survival is never a question, it is a certainty. But what of their ethics? Interrupted Counselor Malin of the Solarian Alliance, known for their peaceful philosophies. Surely, a species so fierce, so relentless, must lack compassion, must be ruthless. Selak raised a hand, calming the murmurs. Humans are complex, they are capable of incredible compassion, even empathy for those they fight against, but they possess a duality: they protect fiercely, yet will fight savagely when threatened. He paused, allowing that to sink in. There is one last recording I wish to show you, he said, his voice softening. He played a final piece of footage, showing a human soldier tending to the wounds of an alien civilian, despite having been injured moments before. They do not fight simply to conquer or to dominate, Selak said. They fight to protect, to preserve. To them, every battle is one of survival, not just for themselves, but for those they care about. The vote. As Selak finished his presentation, the council chamber fell silent once more. Members shifted uneasily in their seats, struggling to reconcile the terrifying adaptability of humans with their capacity for compassion. General Zarn, for the first time, looked troubled. Selak spoke one last time. Honored counselors, I urge you to consider humanity not as a threat, but as a reminder. They are what we could all be if we embraced both strength and vulnerability. But make no mistake, they are indeed the galaxy's most formidable warriors, and they will fight to their last breath for what they hold dear. A long silence stretched through the hall, broken only by the soft hum of the holographic displays fading out. One by one, the council members began to nod in understanding. Humanity, they realized, was indeed a species like no other, a force of nature that could never be fully predicted or contained. As the council adjourned, many departed with a newfound respect, and perhaps even a hint of fear, for the galaxy's most unpredictable and relentless warriors. Encounters and escalations. The council's somber meeting sparked waves of discussion throughout the galactic community. Across countless worlds, species debated and speculated on humanity's place in the galaxy. While some believed humanity was a threat, others argued that they might be the galaxy's greatest ally. Yet, only those who had encountered humans firsthand truly understood the weight of the council's warning. As news spread, curious species sought out humanity to test this reputation firsthand. Planet Krelos 4, the arena. One such encounter took place on Krelos 4, a planet infamous for its grand arena, where species across the galaxy competed in trials of skill and strength. Though most battles were non-lethal displays of prowess, the arena attracted both warriors and spectators, all seeking to prove or witness the might of their respective species. On this particular day, the crowd hummed with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Rumors had spread that a human soldier had accepted the invitation to the arena, ready to face any challenger. To many species, it seemed arrogant. To others, it was an opportunity to learn what humanity truly was. The human's name was Lieutenant Daniel Hayes, a former Marine who had joined an interspecies peacekeeping unit. Calm and calculating, Hayes stepped into the arena, his demeanor almost relaxed, despite the cheers and jeers echoing around him. He wore lightweight armor with just a few weapons strapped to his side, a striking contrast to the heavily armed and armored opponents waiting on the opposite side. Who among you dares challenge the might of the Zyrex? Boomed the voice of General Vacther, a towering, armored Zyrex commander known for his skill in hand-to-hand combat. His exoskeleton gleamed, and each of his 4 muscular arms gripped a weapon. Hayes stepped forward, eyes sharp. He looked more amused than intimidated. I'll give it a shot, he said, his voice carrying a light-hearted tone that seemed to mock the Zyrex's formal approach. Vacther's mandibles clicked with irritation. Human, you are in an arena of honor. Show respect, or prepare for defeat. Hayes grinned, unfazed. Oh, I respect the arena, General. Just don't be upset when you lose. The crowd went silent as the two opponents faced each other. With a signal from the arena master, the match began. Vacther charged first, his speed and strength making him a blur of motion. He was certain this human would be caught off guard by his agility, his raw power. But Hayes sidestepped with ease, almost lazily, as if he'd anticipated the move. With quick, calculated reflexes, he launched a counterattack, striking the joints in Vacther's exoskeleton. Each hit was precise, exploiting every weakness in the Xyrix's armor that Hayes could detect in mere seconds. He moved like water, adapting his style with every second, as if analyzing and rewriting his approach with each blow. The Xyrix commander grew frustrated. Each time he swung, the human dodged or countered, exploiting angles and openings that other species wouldn't even notice. Within moments, Hayes had maneuvered Vactor into a vulnerable position, striking a final blow that disarmed the Xyrix's weapons and forced him to the ground. Hayes took a step back, breathing lightly, with a half-smile on his face as if he hadn't exerted himself at all. The arena erupted in disbelief. Vactor, the mighty Xyrix, bested by a mere human in seconds. Hayes extended a hand to the fallen general. "Good fight, General," he said simply, as if it had been no more than a friendly spar. Vactor stared at the human's outstretched hand, his mandibles twitching with both anger and, surprisingly, a newfound respect. He took Hayes's hand, rising to his feet. "I concede," Vactor said slowly. "You are a worthy opponent." In that moment, respect replaced anger. Vactor understood why humans were feared, not for their physical strength, but for their adaptability, their ability to learn and strategize in the heat of battle. Elsewhere, a study in human adaptability. Meanwhile, on the planet Sionis, a research delegation led by Professor Tarek of the Silurian Collective was closely examining a human scientist named Dr. Marissa Thorne, who had volunteered for an experimental study. The Silurians, known for their telepathic prowess, were intrigued by the human mind's ability to endure extreme psychological stress. Dr. Thorne sat calmly as the Silurians surrounded her, their large, opalescent eyes focused on the probe attached to her temple. Dr. Thorne, Professor Tarek began, "Our understanding is that human psychology is robust. You are known to withstand stress in ways that other species cannot, but tell me, how do you manage fear?" Marissa smiled, her tone relaxed. "Fear is something we humans experience regularly. We're taught early on that it's natural, even useful. If you know how to handle it, it keeps us aware, focused, and adaptable." Curious, Tarek increased the intensity of the simulation, exposing Dr. Thorne's mind to waves of telepathic discomfort. For most species, the experiment would have induced panic, but Marissa's heart rate barely increased. Her breathing remained steady. She closed her eyes, visualizing peaceful scenes as a way to counter the mounting stress. "It's strange," Tarek murmured to the other researchers. "They control their responses to fear, almost as if they befriend it." One of the Silurian assistants looked at Marissa in awe. "Their adaptability is not just physical but mental. They train their minds to withstand what others cannot endure. How can one species be so versatile?" Marissa chuckled softly, overhearing. "It's a survival tactic. Earth throws everything at us: storms, wars, diseases. We adapt or we don't make it. Simple as that." The council reconvenes. Months later, the Galactic Council gathered once more, this time with field reports on humanity from a variety of species. The council hall was abuzz with energy, each faction presenting evidence of humanity's resilience, adaptability, and unpredictable strength. Ambassador Selak called the session to order, his expression one of cautious respect. "Council members, we have studied humanity and found them to be a paradox. Though not the most advanced, they are capable of meeting and surpassing every challenge the galaxy offers. They possess physical adaptability, unparalleled mental resilience, and an uncanny ability to find purpose in hardship." General Vactor rose from his seat, mandibles clicking in agreement. "As one who has faced them in combat, I can attest to their skill. They do not rely on strength alone. They use their minds. They see solutions where others see defeat." Professor Tarek nodded. "I, too, have studied them. Their minds are formidable, adaptable beyond reason. Humanity has redefined what it means to survive." The assembly fell silent as Selak addressed the council one final time. "Let us be clear, honored members. Humanity has proven to be a force unlike any other. They have earned their place among us, not through domination, but through a relentless will to overcome. And yet," Selak paused, his gaze serious, "let us remember that they choose their battles carefully. They may be fierce, but they are not conquerors. They fight for survival, for each other, and for those they consider allies." A hush fell over the hall, each council member coming to grips with the new reality. Humanity, once underestimated, was now the most feared warrior species in the galaxy. But the council had also glimpsed a deeper truth. humans valued peace just as fiercely as they valued survival. As the meeting adjourned, Selak's words echoed in their minds, a silent reminder of humanity's unparalleled strength, a species that could be both relentless warriors and compassionate allies, a species that would forever change the galaxy. Allies and enemies. As humanity's reputation spread across the galaxy, a new era began, a time where species from every corner of the universe weighed the decision to ally with or stand against this adaptable, indomitable species. Some viewed humanity as a threat, fearing that their resilience and strength would eventually lead them to dominate other worlds. Others, however, saw potential in an alliance with Earth, recognizing that the humans' unique qualities could be invaluable in a galaxy fraught with challenges. But not every species was ready to simply accept humanity's place in the galaxy. One such faction was the Myrakai Confederacy, a coalition of rigid, traditionalist species who had dominated interstellar politics for centuries. The Myrakai viewed humanity's rapid rise and influence as a direct threat to their power. The Myrakai Confederacy makes its move. On Myrakai Prime, a meeting was underway between the Confederacy's highest-ranking officials. The room was dark and filled with the hum of complex machines. Seated at the head of the table was Prime Commander Lidhar, a tall, spindly figure with deep, metallic blue skin and narrow, calculating eyes. The Myrakai were known for their highly developed technology and tactical skill but were unaccustomed to physical combat. Lithar's voice was cold as he addressed his council. We can no longer allow this human species to continue unchecked. They defy tradition, operate outside our control, and openly mock the established powers of the galaxy. One of the advisors, Counselor Ivar, spoke up, his tone skeptical. But Prime Commander, they have forged alliances with powerful species already. The Xyrix Dominion, the Silurian Collective, they respect humanity. To challenge them could be dangerous. Lithar's expression hardened, which is why we must expose them for what they truly are, reckless, violent primitives. If we provoke them, they will show the galaxy their true nature, and their allies will see humanity as the threat they truly are. Aboard the human ship Resolute. Meanwhile, Captain Elena Torres and her crew were traveling through Confederacy space on a diplomatic mission. Humanity's alliances had flourished, and Torres was tasked with meeting leaders of emerging species who wished to join the Galactic Council, but a distress call interrupted their journey. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Sarah Imani, her face tense as she studied the console. "We're picking up an SOS signal from a cargo vessel. The Myrakai Confederacy is claiming it was attacked by humans." Torres frowned, her instincts immediately alert. Attacked by humans? That's impossible. There are no other human ships in this sector. Before Torres could respond, the screen flickered, revealing the face of Prime Commander Lidhar. "Captain Torres," he said, his tone dripping with accusation, "your people have attacked one of our vessels. This aggression will not go unanswered." Torres met his gaze, unfazed. "Prime Commander Lidhar, with all due respect, I know the movements of every human ship in this region. None of us have attacked any Myrakai ships. What evidence do you have?" Lithar's expression twisted with feigned shock. "We have footage of a human vessel launching an unprovoked attack. I demand an immediate explanation." Torres exchanged a look with Imani, who gave a discreet nod. "We can track the signal back to its origin," she whispered. "It doesn't align with any official routes." Torres turned back to the screen. "We'll investigate, Prime Commander, but we do not take kindly to false accusations." Lidhar sneered, cutting the transmission. In pursuit of the truth, determined to clear humanity's name, Torres and her crew traced the signal back to a remote Myrakai outpost. As they drew closer, Imani noticed an anomaly, a hidden, unregistered Myrakai facility. Sensors picked up several vessels docked there, including what appeared to be a modified human ship. Torres's face hardened. "So that's their game. They staged the attack to frame us." Without hesitation, she activated the ship's comms. "Prime Commander Lidhar, we have discovered an unregistered Myrakai facility and a ship resembling our own. This is evidence of an attempt to falsely implicate humanity in an attack." Silence met her words, but soon, Lithar's face reappeared on the screen, though this time his sneer was gone, replaced by cold fury. "Captain Torres," he growled, "you may have discovered this ruse, but it changes nothing. The Myrakai will not tolerate humanity's influence spreading through the galaxy." Confrontation in the Council. The next day, a special session of the Galactic Council convened to address the growing tensions between humanity and the Myrakai. Representatives from both factions filled the chamber, along with dozens of other species who awaited the outcome of this critical meeting. Ambassador Selak stood as the mediator, his voice calm but firm. Prime Commander Lithar, you stand accused of attempting to frame humanity. How do you respond? Lithar's voice was unwavering. I stand by my accusation. Humanity has destabilized the balance of the galaxy. They are a threat to order, and we must act before it is too late. Captain Torres rose to her feet, her eyes fierce. We've presented evidence that refutes these claims. The Myrakai staged this attack to manipulate you all into fearing humanity. We came here as explorers, as allies, but we will not tolerate such blatant deception. A murmur swept through the chamber as various council members exchanged uncertain glances. They had seen humanity's strength but also their compassion. The Myrakai's accusations felt hollow in the face of humanity's continued dedication to alliance building and peace. Lithar, sensing the council's wavering trust, made one final desperate move. Humanity will stop at nothing. If you do not act now, you risk the rise of a new tyrant in the galaxy. Ambassador Selak raised a hand. Prime Commander, enough. We have seen the truth. Humanity has proven itself resilient and adaptable, but never once have they sought dominance. This council recognizes humanity's role not as conquerors, but as protectors. Resolution and new alliances. After hours of debate, the council voted in favor of humanity, dismissing the Myrakai's accusations. Lithar and his supporters left in silent outrage, but the decision had been made. Humanity was no longer an outsider, they were a respected member of the Galactic Council, regarded with both awe and admiration. As Captain Torres and her crew left the council chambers, they were met with warm greetings from other species who had once doubted humanity. Now, they saw humanity as the fierce but loyal allies they were. Torres couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had not only faced the galaxy's best warriors but had also earned the galaxy's trust. Through resilience, adaptability, and an unwavering sense of justice, humanity had secured a place among the stars not through fear, but through respect. And somewhere in the shadows, Lithar watched, his eyes burning with resentment. He knew this was not the end, but merely the beginning. Humanity had taken its place in the galaxy, and the future would see them tested in ways even the Myrakai could not predict.